Recording in progress.
That's that.
So here we are. Welcome to the first episode of Bodybuilding and Beanies with myself, Sam Lancaster, and Mr. Josh Jenkins, who is a corpse in prep right now in this second.
I had some
Uh,
time today, so I'm actually sound. I'm coming back to life. If you spoke to me 2 days ago, you wouldn't have spoken to me. I told you to fuck off.
Even
Great.
last night, to be
10
honest. Even
seconds
last
in,
night.
I've already dropped an F-bomb and told people to fuck off. Brilliant. But no, hello everybody. We've been speaking about doing this for a while. Like every now and then, we're like, oh, do you want to do one? Do you want to do one? And then I
I
remember
think
I put a
it got to
story.
the point, didn't it? I think it was prep though. Like I think we were like we would do it after your prep, and then it was just sort of like
You
ad
messaged
hoc.
me, you literally messaged me last night. You're like, oh, you still up for doing a podcast after prep? And I was like, why are we waiting till after prep? But now gives you something to do.
Well, I just thought I was like under the assumption like, nah, this guy won't be ready for a
Oh, mate,
fucking.
I was like, fuck, why can't you just do it now? Because I feel like when you're in a prep, by the way, I'm prepping, by the way. Hello, everybody. I feel like you just look for things to take up your time.
Fact.
And
It
it's,
is fact.
oh, I was like, you messaged me yesterday. I was like, oh, sounds sick. That's an hour per week. Brilliant. Sick.
So the thing is now, then when you get into the off season, these are going to end now because he's going to have.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
so I need to go back into prep when he comes out of prep, so then we can keep this going.
Oh
So
yeah, 21st of what? 21st of October. That'll be the last episode. It'll be a wrap up of my prep because we're gonna just talk about me. And then we'll be done. It'll be sound.
I'll message Christian and tell him to get me back on prep, so I have then time to then have to
Yeah,
waste.
you'll start prep then, and you'll prep in like what? Till you'll do the first show of the year next year. And then I'll start prep again. And I'll probably just somehow gain another 21 pound.
Revolving cycle. Now we'll keep this going in the off season, but we'll probably be lethargic and possibly talk more waffle. We'll be eating more food. I've tried
Yes,
to keep eating away from the camera because
it'll get
I
to a
think
point where we're both just coming on here with our post-workout meal and just chatting absolute shit for an hour.
probably not even chatting, to be fair. If they get that big. Like, by the time this as this gets longer, the post workout meal is gonna get bigger and bigger, isn't it? More slim needed, mate, for that post workout needed.
Not slid in yet.
Yeah, basil.
Sick.
20 I use of basil, mate. Can't complain. To be honest, yeah, like this is just funny. We haven't even done like an introduction or nothing. We're gonna go straight into like
This is the
slim.
perfect introduction. We're talking about insulin.
We're talking about my now
When was the
adventure
last?
into
I want to say the last time. It wasn't the last time I used insulin, but what my most fond moment of using insulin was in a Fat Hippo restaurant, and I pinned it as my food came with a BO. It was brilliant.
do you use rapid?
Toilet. I literally went bang. It was like on oh, what's the fucking? It's not Warzone.
No,
What's
it
it?
is Warzone. The stim pins.
No, but I
Yeah,
haven't really played Warzone. Sorry, people who play Warzone. But you know what I mean? Where you just like
you played
just jab
Warzone.
yourself.
Yeah, that's Warzone, bro. That's
What
straight
was
up
the
card.
other one?
Stim pin, mate. Yeah, straight up stim
That
pin.
basically I did that in a fat hip. I made sure we got like the table right at the back of the restaurant so no one could see. As soon as my beer came down, I went bang. I was so full.
Mate, that's been
It was
chronic
post
stuff.
workout, so it was fine.
I'm yet to actually experience. Well, I've not done rapid, obviously, so I'm yet to experience
Yeah,
that. But
by the way, wasn't Mantis, it was no rapid.
that's say that I'd literally do piss all, mate. But for me, like I don't know, bro. Well, again, no intro, but yeah, my blood sugars have always been like pretty. Not they're not like crap. I'm not like pre-diabetic or going diabetic or anything, but they've never been like crazily low. Like I remember even on prep, I was coming out at like 4.5 nanomole,
That's the
which
thing.
is
Like I don't really go hypo.
like,
Like
yeah, I've never
never. Like
recalled
even
myself
like
below 4.
last year, never. This year, not. I think maybe once, maybe. And it was very mild. Like
Just funny though, the other week, right? So been on 20 IUs. I'm not, like obviously I'm new to this journey in myself.
yeah. So just
Uh,
to be fair, we should actually I think now we
Should we
should
intro now? Should we intro
let's
now? And we'll
intro
come back
now.
to this. Okay.
So Sam, because you introed the video, you introed the podcast, you can go first.
Okay. What are we saying? We're just the current situation, I guess.
Who you are,
Historic.
what you are,
I'm a neek.
situation, then I'll do mine. You think of mine.
I'm a neek with a beanie, mate. So I guess I'm a part-time bodybuilder, part-time coach, which has a full-time job, likes to play games. That's probably the best. Just a geek, mate. I don't know. That's probably the best way to describe me.
I think we
Current
are both
situation.
a bit geeky in our own sort of ways.
We're just, mate, I think everyone in the bodybuilding industry is a geek, mate. Like, really, let's
Everyone's a
be
bit
honest.
weird.
Everyone's a bit autistic.
Yeah,
Just
to a certain extent.
if you say you're not autistic and you're into bodybuilding, then you're severely autistic.
You can't tell, by the way, like we have much of a filter. So if we do offend anyone, sorry.
I mean, it's true. I mean, autism's not a bad thing, is it? So
Not
it's
bad
just
thing. They
it's
say we probably are. I haven't been
hyper focus, mate. It's
I
great.
haven't been tested because I'm too scared of them saying yes.
Fuck the scare thing. Go for it, mate. Get some medication in it. Get some free meds, bro.
Exactly.
But nah. So um, I was a natural for a very long time. I've been training for 7 years now, roughly. Natty. Did two competing seasons as a natural. First men's physique, diabolical. Then classic physique. Still didn't win, but I've got some trophies up there, which was second place and fourth place. Fantastic. Still not a winner yet. And then it led on to the point of actually going on assistance now, which I'm now 12 weeks deep roughly into that process. And to be honest, mate, I don't really feel too much difference besides
Shock.
just what?
Shock. You don't feel
Yeah,
much difference
like
besides
it
when
just
you do
isn't like people
steroids.
think it's superhero stuff. It's really not. But like the visuals just say a different story. That's it. They're like, wow, how you feeling? Like somebody asked me today in the gym, how you feeling? How you feeling? But I'm like, I literally feel no. I feel like I come from 7 nanomole prep, no libido, feeling like I'm peak off season pretty quickly. Like that's just
I think when people start, and obviously I've never done a prep naturally, but I find when people, from what I've seen, come out of a prep and they stay natural, it just takes them a bit longer. And all that happens when someone goes assisted after a prep is that period of feeling normal again is just significantly shorter.
that's it. Literally, that was
And
a couple of
I'd
weeks.
even say like even when you're like peak off season and peak blast or whatever, you don't really feel much different like going into the gym because you always feel pretty good anyway. Like when you're peak off season, Sam's just dipped. When you're like peak off season going into the gym and you're natural, you still feel pretty good. Like you've had a good amount of food, you're heavier, you're pretty much, I don't want to say you're guaranteed to train well, but like you've got all the tools ready to train well. It's just when you're assisted, you've probably got a bit more.
That's it. It literally feels no different. I just feel like I feel like I'm just peak off season when I'm 12 weeks or 16 weeks post show now or whatever it is. So
Oh, is that
that's
it?
it's just that's literally all it feels like. And just a nuisance of having to jab every day. That's the only other thing. But besides that, it's just is what it is. It's really not superhero serum.
Did
It's
you
really
find
not.
like when you did your first jab and then like the ones after it, like you were like quite excited to?
Nah, I
I
shit
was
it, bro.
like, I was gassed. I was like, because I used to pin twice a week because I was already on test. And I'd be like, oh my God, it's a Friday. I get to pin. Brilliant. This is back when I used to pin first thing in the morning. Like, legitimately, it would be like, first thing in the morning, bang, pin. Because I was so excited to do it. Now I'm like, it's the last thing I do before I go to bed.
Is
And
it? See, I'm still first thing in the morning, mate.
I can't be bothered.
I think the only thing for me is because I do insulin in the morning as well. So I
Yeah.
just and I still backload, not backload, but I still use the same syringes, like the same insulin syringes that I use for um tests that I do for Slin. So like, I draw out of the Slin tube. Do you know what I mean? I don't use the actual
Oh
Slin
no,
pins,
I just use like
the caps.
yeah, I use the cap. So I'm literally when
Yeah, I
I'm
don't use the caps, yeah.
I just screw it on, pick my stomach up. When I'm peak off season,
Oh,
easy because I don't have to pinch my skin. I just go bang, fat. Yo.
yes. But Christian obviously set me straight on like microdosing. So like I was straight every
Yeah,
day.
like when I'm cruising, when I'm only taking tests, and to be fair, my cruises have been like a touch of mass anyway. Um, I will just pin twice a week, only because I'm like I can't be bothered to pin 5 to 7 times a week, 0.1 of a mil.
Yeah, yeah, literally. Yeah, you're sending shots here, bro. I'm on 0.15.
Can't
You
tell.
can't.
I'm very lazy when it comes to things like that.
Yeah, but obviously, I think that's. I mean, my intro. I don't know if what else you can even say for my intro. Really, like that's it. I'm on my journey now of that. Um, like I said, I'm a part-time. I still work a full-time job and I coach as well. But people think I'm a full-time coach, which is a good thing. But also,
Yeah, 100%.
it's a good thing to put across. But it's a challenge because I am fucking busy. Simple as that. Simply to put it. But that's really
I
it
think that
about.
probably helps your coaching though, because you're so busy that you have to be very regimented with your coaching.
Oh yeah, too right. Like very too right. Like, and that doesn't help when if clients don't check in on time because I've got a tight schedule. So,
Yeah.
yeah, on the days when I am working, which is a Friday and a Monday, when I'm doing my full-time job, yeah, that's before work. I do that. So they don't check in on time, which they do. To be fair, them clients do, which is handy.
Yeah,
Um, it can fuck up my day, but.
100%.
Yeah, that's really it from me. There's not really much to introduce. I mean, the funny thing is my story leads into how me and Josh met. Like my journey of going assistants is how me and Josh met. It's because well, post show. Like I don't know if Josh wants to
I
go into
met
that,
Sam 2 minutes after you came off stage,
literally.
and straight away I knew we were going to be brothers. Straight away. We'll
Well,
get
and
on.
why? Because
We'll
I
get on.
said
We'll get onto that in a minute because it's actually like when I was actually a week into prep and Sam didn't know. And no one knew apart from Tim, my mum and dad, and Ethan Kavanagh and his girlfriend. Actually, my mum and dad didn't know by that point. Um, so for me, full-time coach now, technically, yeah. Which is quite weird. Um, so got into bodybuilding about 3.5 years ago. Started being coached by Reese Fit. Um, went to his first timers show, which is nearly 3 years ago, which is absolutely wild. Um, where he was doing men's physique, and I was like, oh, like I was following his prep because I was being coached by him, and I was like, oh, that's actually quite something I wouldn't mind to do. Um, so I started looking in within that, started posing a bit more. Um, started liking men's physique posing. I kind of like the aesthetic look, probably similar to you. Like I think when you grow up, the first if you're into football, like we both are, who's the person you want to be? Ronaldo. Because he's ripped, he's what you think is big at that age. Men's physique is kind of like the way I look at it is like the bodybuilding version of that. You don't want to be too big, but you kind of want to have that sort of lean, aesthetic looking look. So I was like, oh, that's kind of what I'd look for. The poses looked all right, so I was like, oh, sound. Then started looking because I was still natural at this point. Started looking within natural federations, and this is no discredit to anyone who's natural. There's people who are natural who are better than me, bigger than me. But the aesthetic look of men's physique, the natural aesthetic look of men's physique, wasn't what I wanted to build upon. And I was like, if I'm 23, so competing my last year as a junior, and again, no discredit, those are people at the top end of juniors, I'd want more than that. But then if I was looking at the assisted side of things, I was like, that's a look I want. And I'd want to go long term with this. And I'm not against going assisted. So I think it was start of February 2022. Then turned to the dark side and immediately just started beating up children. The second I was showing
fuck
up in my
off.
body. But no, ran that throughout 2022. Grew a decent bit off that, which I was quite happy with. And then decided I was going to prep in 2023. I was thinking of 2024, so this year for my first prep. But I thought, no, like let's just full send it and just see how I do. Prep last year. I should also note in 2022, I started working under Reese as like a co-coach, which I was very thankful for, and I still really, really am. There was a point where I gained a lot of experience in terms of coaching and just methods and clients and things like that. Went for my first prep last year, prep for 21 weeks before my first show was the PCA First Timers 5, just back end of September, the exact same show Reese did, funny enough. Placed second, and it was a bit of like it was like pretty much a perfect prep for about 17 weeks. And then my physique started to die off. We've been dieting for a very long time. I think me and Reese can both probably agree on like the fact that communication probably wasn't fantastic at this point. Like I was probably just moaning way too much, but I probably wasn't portraying that moan as I should have done. Probably a bit immature. Um, so it probably came across in the wrong way. To the point where my physique just died, didn't look very good. it resulted in a peak week, which was supposed to be quite smooth. The back end was horrendous. At the time, I quite enjoyed it because it was a bit of a struggle, but I was having to get like 1,200 carb in 2 days out, which wasn't at the time it was fun, but looking back, it's just not very orthodox. Brought back the look, but the dude who beat me, like even if I looked my best, would have still beat me. Like he was a lot more men's physique than I was. At this point, like I kind of began to realize I wasn't really suited towards men's physique, especially PCA men's physique. My waist isn't that small. I can kind of hide it from the side a little bit, or from one side, but one side not so much. And my legs were half decent. Then we're going to do a FitX show. My physique horrendously died. And as I've spoken about on my YouTube and my Instagram a fair few times, had a lot of digestive issues, ate about 3,000 calories in about 5 days, but gained about 5 kilos, no, not 5 kilos, 9 kilos of water. So obviously didn't do that show, which wasn't ideal. Then somehow got the water off. I say somehow, it was 4 or 5 days of eggs and egg whites 3 times a day. That was it. And about 2.5 hours of cardio and a vitamin C IV. Got the water off. Physique was horrendous. Did PCA finals. Didn't even get first call outs. And didn't really look very good. But I said I was going to get my legs out. Got my legs out the next week in NFM and fucking won. I won a
Wait, you
new
what?
champion. Yeah, I won, bro.
Bro, I thought you said you haven't won before.
Yeah, I won it. I was the only one in the class, but I've
Wait,
got to go
oh,
and
oh. You know, last night we were on FaceTime, and you're like, yeah, I've never won a shot. I was like, and then you said that. I was like, bro, what the fuck?
yeah, yeah. It's the med-
Wait,
oh,
yeah,
to be fair, the
yeah,
medal.
yeah, we don't count them ones.
Don't give a shit. But no, like got my legs out, did what I said I was going to do, and realized that even though like my physique was died out by this point, I just looked more of a bodybuilder, even at that point.
Yeah,
So then it was like, right, let's just send classic, let's send junior bodybuilding, for however long. And then it was going to be an 18-month off season into a prep 2025. So next year. And it got to a point where like I made a decent amount of improvement in my off season. Um, and then come around May sort of time, I decided that it would probably be for the best for me to go on my own in terms of coaching and to go with a new coach. So I signed up with Tim and went coaching on my own. So now I just coach for myself. And then May happened. So obviously that happened in terms of like I changed my business around, and May was shit. And my head was like, as much as I don't really like to admit it, it was very much like all over the place. And I was like, I just need to crack on with something. So I decided the best thing to do was do a bodybuilding prep. Yeah, because that'll be brilliant. But no, it actually was like I got my head down and cracked on with something for a bit. Didn't really say I was going to prep. We didn't tell anyone I was prepping until about 3 weeks out. I think I told you at like 8 weeks out.
yeah, you did.
Yeah, I think I told you. And then about a week into prep, I went to PC Naturals because I was like, I just want to see what the standards like. I had nothing to do. And then came across Sam, who was posing on stage to a very good song, which was like the Bumblebee theme from Transformers, wasn't it?
Of course it was.
Yeah, comes off stage. And he's actually good mates with Tom, who I'm very good mates with as well. Tom Taylor. First thing Tom does is give him a cookie box.
Which I
Tom
told.
for those who want one. And then you said you were going assisted, so therefore I was like, right, me and Sam are going to get on like hell.
Literally. I thought I was speaking to Tim, wasn't I? Or he was just speaking. There was a couple of people around us, and they were like, "What's your
It
plans?"
was
And
like
I was
me,
like,
you, Tim, Tom, and like probably like Maka or something.
"Yeah, yeah." And then they were like, "What's your plans?" I said, "I'm gonna go assisted." And they were like,
I was like,
and then you
I
you
like it.
literally just came over and said that, and you're like, "Oh yeah, sound like this is yeah. I can be mates with you now." Didn't you? I think you
I
said, "I
like
can be
it.
mates with you now."
I think I pointed you and I looked at someone and was like, I like him.
Yeah, that was it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then
And then we started chatting a bit more, started chatting when the Euros were on because I hate England, because I'm Welsh. Started chatting about that. And then I decided I also like wearing beanie hats. And then me and Sam just became best mates. I don't even fucking got one near me.
yeah, you're actually really not on the vibe today, are you? Like with
No,
the whole bodybuilding beanies podcast, mate.
I'm falling off, bro.
You actually are falling off. You're cooked now.
I've got
Yeah.
one here. It's a Jordan Green one.
Oh, is that the ass one that doesn't fit, or does it fit?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
I'm
stick it
not going to
on.
put it on though, because I wanted to put a different one on. But I'll go find it because I need to go for a wee. But I also need to finish off me. So yeah, then carry on prepping. Me and Sam became good mates. And then long story short, I competed 10 days or so ago in junior bodybuilding. I'm like 21 pounds up, a bit leaner. Kind of did exactly what I wanted to with this prep and displayed that I can get pretty lean because I'm pretty lean. Um, I did all right. Came second to a really good bodybuilder. It was like at a point in it. And yeah, I'm probably going to carry on and do a few more shows. I'm less than 5 days out,
Win.
and I'm
You
doing
got plenty
classic
more
as
shows.
well. So that's fun.
You are doing classic, aren't you? Yeah,
Yeah,
you got your trunk sorted.
yeah. I'm borrowing Jacob Randall's.
You borrowed my trunk. You fucking yeah.
Borrowed him's as well, borrowed Sam's as well. But Jacob's are like a bit bigger, and I'm just fucking massive. No, base of my waist is too big. So I don't know how yours were too small.
Hey,
And Jacob trains in the same gym as me, so I was pitted. The exact same ones though, it's different sizes. So yeah, I'm doing classic on the weekend and junior bodybuilding at FitX. That's fun. That's me.
and then more shows lined up.
I'm gonna go and grab that beanie and have a piss because that's one thing about being in prep is that you drink a lot of water and you need a wee all the time. So
So I need to fill the gap now, don't I?
yeah, fill the gap with anything and let me know what you say. Talk about why we called it bodybuilding beanies, maybe.
Well, that's obvious answer. But yeah, go on, go for your piss before
Talk about
you.
like your plans now.
All right, easy.
Sound.
To be fair, one topic I wanted to talk about actually before, well, when he went off, I tried to get it in, but he waffled with his story. So, but he mentioned about like getting into men's physique due to aesthetics, bro. I think I was just scared of the bodybuilders. I looked at myself. I've always had pretty good legs. Everyone knows me. My legs are decent. You see me on Instagram, bro. I was just scared. Like when I did my first prep in 2022, I was like, nah, let's do men's physique because it's easier. I said. And then I came up against an old school friend of mine called Jovan Essen. Shout out to Jovan, who's an absolute freak. I didn't place anyway at any of my shows. So doesn't matter that he came first and went all the way to Natural Olympia because he would have beat me and I didn't place at all anyway. So I was clearly washed. But my plans now, really, I don't have a clue. Um, pursue business, pursue coaching more because right now, well, I have just been doing a specialization block within training, which is different. Christian, my coach, has got me on something very different to what I'm used to. In terms of enjoyment, not as enjoyable as what I usually like, but it's working. So, can I do it? Yes. Am I struggling? Am I recover? Am I having issues with recovery? No. So we keep on doing it. I'm still progressing, although my enjoyment factor isn't there as much. But I'm going into my last week of that phase, and then I'll be going on to a standardized split again, which is something I'm more used to, which will be good to see. Having more volume elsewhere back into play. But yeah, my progress or my journey now will really just revolves around continuing what I'm doing in the gym with no direct goals of competing anytime soon, and mainly growing business as much as I possibly can. Growing my coaching, getting more clients, helping more people out. That is literally it. Um, in terms of next time I'll prep, not a clue.
Take
Um,
back, motherfuckers.
back. And he's got the Trinity one as well.
Yeah.
Man's actually on job with his
Trinity
pull.
lifting a power, Josh 10.
Yeah, I'd say it's Lank 10 as well, but I'm not sponsored by anybody. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Great. But yeah, so in terms of prep, I mean, it's always like for me, I mean, Josh had a 1 year break between his preps. For me now, it's probably like a 2 year off season because I don't feel like I can step on stage anytime soon, like next year against classic physique individuals personally.
Do you want to?
To be honest, at this moment in time, no, because
That's the thing. Like when I finished my prep last year, a lot of people were like, I bet you probably don't want to prep. I actually did.
Hmm.
Like deep down, I was like, I want to prep now. I want to be when I'm at the end of my off season ready to prep, like the second I got off stage.
And do it
Because
again better.
yeah, because I wasn't happy with how I
Yeah.
sort of looked, and that was why I decided to prep this year. Because I was like, okay, I've made some improvements. I'm going to prep.
Thing
Uh,
is, you did make silly improvements though. For me, I'm still used to this assistance journey where I
oh, I
don't
like,
realize
don't
how
get me
much
wrong.
I can improve.
I cannot wait until my prep is done.
Like for
Much as
me,
I love
right?
prep, as much as I love prep, I love competing, and I can't wait to be back on stage on Sunday. And I can't wait to be on stage on the 29th when I'm in Hull. And then likewise, I'll probably do PCA London and then PCA finals. I cannot wait until I'm off stage at PCA finals now because I also want to grow.
It's crazy though, because like for me, right? I did a 2 year off season between my first prep season, my second prep season, and I gained roughly about 20 pounds ish in stage weight, right?
Mhm.
Which is mad. And I've not been used to this assistance before, or like the assistance now that I'm on. So whether or not I get to the point of the beginning of next year and go, holy fuck, like I
You never
could.
know. That's the thing. Like you genuinely never know. And it's again like with how you're growing now, it might get to the point where again, when you let's say increase food, when you get stronger, when you increase PDs, you might do a diet literally like I pretty much was and be like, oh shit, I look a lot better than I ever expected I'd do at this point.
Yeah, I'm in the unknown right now. Like it's one of them things where
To be fair, I
I'm
think that
just
might be better though. I think if you go into a prep planning it out, especially as like an amateur, and you're like, unless you're like planning for like a pro card or something like that, then I think you probably need to. But if you're just at the point where you're like, I want to see how I do this, do that. I think if you're in like a mini cut and you're looking about 6 weeks out and there's a show in 6 weeks, I haven't even planned for it, you've got no time to really stress.
yeah, literally. Yeah, I
So
wanted to
my
see.
prep on socials, I was 3 weeks out. So in my head, I prepped for 3 weeks.
Yeah. See, for me, I just don't really like, for example, right this second, do I look at myself and go, could I stand on an untested classic physique stage? No. Do you know what
Mhm.
I mean? Right this second, but that doesn't mean
That was why I made the call to carry on with prep because I was like, oh, I actually look a lot better than I thought on stage.
yeah.
Sound. Let's do more shows.
Whereas in January, I can look at myself and go, oh my days, now I'm like 200 and, I'm let's say matched my peak off-season weight last time, which is 225, but I'm like so much better in
You
terms of
look at how you did
competition.
it 185.
Yeah. So like, do you know what I mean? Like I could look at myself and go, wow, actually, I could do this and still step on stage on an untested show and do pretty well. But if not, then I can do back end of the year. If not, I'll go with the next year. So
I always
really,
back end of the year is like if you're assisted, I think the back end or going for untested shows, I think the back end of the year is always the best bet because there's so many more shows, especially within like PCA and like with the Natty Feds now, there's not that many. I know
yeah,
UKDF are doing like two, but you've got so many shows to pick from. Like for me, we have chopped and changed my show schedule. So, I say we, I have chopped and changed my show schedule so many times, but I've got the time to do that. And then you relieves a lot of pressure. Whereas like last year, for example, because I competed first timers, then within 3 weeks it was British finals. There was 2 weekends to do shows, and then once things had gone fucked up, I was like, well, there's no more regionals for the rest of the year.
yeah, yeah.
You get a lot
Like
more time.
the Natty show schedule is the worst. It's the
Yeah,
worst natural fed. Like me and Christian trying to plan it out. And that's why I ended up really only doing two shows because it was like I did UK FBA and then 2 weeks later PCA Naturals. Then the
Mhm.
next one was like back end of August. Like really. Like the other ones, there was like one in London, which I was like, I can't,
Yeah.
I ain't bothered. Like, and it was also it was a novice show. And by
Yeah.
the way, right, so I
Was that
messaged
BMBF?
about this. No, it was oh yeah, was it WMBF?
No,
Yeah,
BM.
WMBF. Yeah, whatever it is, yeah. But in London.
Yeah, but it's a long time, man.
Yeah. But the thing is, it was in London, yeah. And I thought, you know what? Fuck it, I'll try it. So I messaged them saying, because it was a novice show, they said you can't have placed top three. I was like, right, okay. Well, I placed third out of three people, and I would have definitely come lower than that if more people had joined that show,
Yeah.
right? In my last season. So let's message them saying I got the proof, I got everything that I need. I came third out of third, right?
Mhm.
Would you let me compete? And they said no. And then I get a message on Instagram saying, would you like to compete in our show, etc. I was like, I already emailed you about this.
Yeah.
You said no already. So yeah, so we called it there at that point because
Makes
all the
sense.
other shows are so
I think
far
that's the
away.
right mindset to have. It's like if I went into PCA Wales last weekend and I was like, okay, cool, I've done what I need to, but I'm just not getting like looked at by the judges. But the standard was pretty. It was three people in the class. I came second, but the dude who I beat ended up winning PCA Manchester, and the like literally just Sunday just gone. So like the standard, and there was like 11 people in the class, so it was a very good standard. And I was like, well, I'm probably half decent then, so I'm going to carry on. If I win a show, fantastic, brilliant. If I don't, I'm still not taking anything away from my physique. So
Yeah, fact. But yeah, I don't, how long we got left of this meeting? We're on the Povo version
eight
of
and a
Zoom
half
right now.
minutes.
How
Eight and
much?
a half minutes, but we can clip some bits on if we need to.
Yeah, well, we can always finish, this one as the introductions shortly, but
We've got
I
some
don't think
questions anyway, so they'll probably take us over. We'll probably record. We'll probably just leave this as like the introduction video, which I'll try and
and
get.
then we'll do a second video of the Q&A because we got a lot of Q&A videos.
We'll do like a quick Q&A for like 20, 30
What
minutes.
was I going to say as well? Oh yeah, when you were gone, I said, the whole when you said about going men's physique because of aesthetics, yeah,
Mhm.
I had a different view. So yeah, I saw that aesthetics thing, but I was like, I said to myself, it was an easier class. So I was like, I don't, I'm too scared to do bodybuilding. Men's physique's easier.
I think
So
a
I
lot of
thought,
people have that. The thing is, as soon as I got into like men's physique and I was like, I want to get bigger, I want to get bigger, like I'd hit a side chest and I would just look better.
yeah,
And then I was like, well, I actually kind of like this. And then I started looking at like, because I still don't want to be an open bodybuilder. I don't really like the look of it. Like I like the look on stage, but I don't like the look at like you got to look at all aspects of like how you are when you're not on stage. Like when you're
yeah,
that heavy, like it's probably difficult to move. So it's a case where I'm like, I still want to be able to move and I still want to have an aesthetic physique. Classic is quite aesthetic. Obviously, open, you've got aesthetic physiques anyway, but I still want to maintain that.
yeah.
It's
I
like
know what you
classic
mean.
is the next step up, and that's more so now like the people I kind of not look up to. I don't really look up to many people, but like I look at like if I'm watching like a show day or something like that, I find myself naturally looking at bodybuilding and classic as opposed to men's physique, unless I
The other
know
thing about classic though is like, it's saturated as hell, is it? It's heavy. I mean,
everyone's a
like
classic bodybuilder. You hit a
everyone is
vacuum.
a classic bodybuilder, yeah. Like you don't really have many people going, yeah, I really want to look like fucking Hadi Chupan. You know what I mean? Like,
Literally. I don't think I've ever heard someone say that.
yeah,
But
literally
at
like
the
I
same
want to look
time,
like
I
Derek
find
Lunsford.
if someone does say that, I probably respect them more because it's harder.
Yeah, yeah, literally like I want to look like Samson Dorna. Crazy, mate. Go on. I want to see
Yeah.
that.
Someone's like, I want to be like Seba. I'm like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but so does everybody, mate, because he's handsome and got a great physique, mate. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I want to be Ryan Terry. Yeah, yeah. Cool.
yeah, cool, cool. All right, mate. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
so does
get.
literally everyone else who's getting into the gym.
It's like saying I'd be like Zac. I want to look like Zac Efron. Yeah, mate. Probably so is everybody, mate. Like he's a
Yeah,
good looking bloke. Do you know what I'm saying? Not sus.
not
Not
so,
sus. We're not
not so.
sus, but it's just talking about
Not
blokes who,
such, but I would.
yeah. But it's what I'm saying. You could say about anybody.
Three
I want to look
pints and
like,
10 I use a Nova Rapid. Done.
yeah.
A bit of
6 week
fat.
mini cut. Done, mate. Easy.
Yeah.
To be fair to you, bro, like my face in off season actually goes horrendous, but on prep, mate, prep face is actually goated. I love a prep face. I
I
can't lie.
because I've had a little bit of food and I've had 7 liters of water. My face isn't as it is in the morning. We have to record a video in the morning where my prep face is actually in. So I fucking like it, man.
Do you look like, you see that? No
There's a
SpongeBob.
photo. There's a photo of me, and it was when I did my check-in, and I knew the pose looked good, and like I smiled a little bit. Believe it or not, I actually smiled. Um, but to be fair, even like today,
Yeah, Chad. But it is, SpongeBob, yeah. You seen that video, that one that episode where it's like he's like all the water's like sucked out or something of the fucking tank or the air or whatever, and he's like all
yeah,
dried up, crispy, bro. That's breakfast and a half in the
it's
morning.
a, I kind of like the feeling of it. It's like when your face is a bit fucked.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
You know
cool.
what I don't like though? There's something I really don't like. You know when like you get up in the morning when you're like a few weeks, like literally like a week out or something like that, or like just before you carb loading, and your whole body just like hurts and your body's like, don't do
Bro, do you vacuum and you're empty?
it. Yeah. I like that.
That's nah, I don't. That's like that hurts me. When you try and pull a vacuum and you almost like you feel like you're out of air. I could just be, I mean, flavored air through vape doesn't really help me in my lungs, but pulling a vacuum when you're like completely
Well,
empty,
you use
mate.
nicotine.
What?
You use nicotine.
It's a vapor, mate. I don't know if you're taking a piss.
I never use any nicotine products.
Oh, shut up, bro. You literally have like the worst snus ever, mate. Shut
I've got
up.
one in now.
Bro's
Literally,
melting away in his chair.
but you can't tell.
Bro, oh, mate, put peer pressure on him now. He's gonna start melting away in his chair.
Shit, shit.
Yeah.
It's never really hit me. Like, it's never really been like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. I've never
Right, tell him how much you're on. Tell me what you take. 150s.
no.
Bro, I've got like 6 milligram ones and they've killed me
People
nearly.
say like, oh, does it not ruin your appetite in off season? I'm like, no,
Nah, just
I'm
nah.
surprised at that.
But I suppression, never heard of it. Like
That's like the feeling of it. And I'm just like, if I don't like the feeling of it, I just take it out.
this guy drinks coffee and has one snus between each meal.
I remember last prep, like I was literally like, I feel pretty shit. Snus is gonna make me feel worse. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a snus in and do nothing, and then I can just focus on surviving. Really good prep hack.
Yeah, just funny. I think I've got a question which is like, what's a prep pack? Take snus, mate.
Yeah.
I'm not even joking though. Nicotine actually does help prep. Like, no, it does. Like, don't get into it. But if you have been on that subject before, like you dropped vaping on off season because of appetite, whatever, on prep, it actually generally does help. I can't lie. My lungs definitely deteriorate at least 10 more percent on prep from vape induction, like inhalation. Um, but yeah, apparently the 150 milligram snus is the way.
It's always the way. I think
No,
I've
it's
got
not.
Pablo in now.
Way on the Pablos.
No, the Cubas.
Cubas. They're all named like in Mexican
Yeah.
individuals. Man's on the Escobars today. Man's on the 200 Escobars.
200, I reckon 200 would fuck me up.
Oh, but 150 doesn't.
The only thing is I didn't I had to cut it like last year, like a few days out because obviously nicotine blunts nitric oxide production, so getting a pump. And I hated it. Whereas now, like Tim said to me, he was like, bro, you're taking Cialis,
Yeah, literally.
taking other orals, you will be fine. So like a day out last year, I'd run in, I was like sound, even like a few hours out. Like I was on the way to the Port Talbot to the venue. I was like put a snus in. I was so chilled out. It was probably like the most chilled out I've ever been on a show day.
Hey, bro,
I
bro's on
didn't put, I
stage.
took it out like an hour and a half pre-stage. I
Bro's
was
on
like,
stage with one
no, because
in,
I was like,
lagging.
I got in my head and I was like, if I have a nicotine like rush really bad pre-stage, I'm fucked because I'm gonna sweat.
Hey, bro's on stage with one in and he's lagging, mate. He's fucking, his Wi-Fi's cut out. He's there. Next quarter
But
turn, man still stuck in.
you know the scene from Wolf of Wall Street.
Tell me the scene, because I know what I've watched Wolf of
You
Sheep
know
so many
when
times.
like they have that flashback to when they took those drugs.
Yes, yeah,
Me on stage.
yeah. With a Pablo in or Cuba.
I might do
Oh,
that for a laugh. Just do a show where like I might just turn it to a show where no one's doing it and just put a snus in to see how I do. I'll win it, obviously.
well, it's funny because on that note, should we leave it on that as the
All right,
introduction?
let's leave it on that. That's the introduction. We're going to do a Q&A now, which will be at back end of the week. And we'll leave it there. But yeah, thank you for listening or watching. I still need to sort this out on Spotify. But yeah, that's the first episode of Bodybuilders and Beanies. Fantastic. Brilliant.
Hope you enjoyed. Lots of
See you in
love.
a bit. Bye.
Losers.